This here is the Sokka Tenacious Tactician deck, explained a little bit more. Looks pretty straightforward. We've got Menace and Prowess. Other allies you control have Menace and Prowess. And whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you create a 1/1 white ally creature token. So we're going to be making some tokens. We're going to make our allies strong, hard to block, and we're just going to keep the pressure on. There will be a lot of aggression for the most part. Keeping that pressure on, keeping your opponents on the defensive. So let's see what we've got for it. Let's start with some generic and weird things. We've got Sokka, Wolf Cove's protector. He's got vigilance. He's a warrior ally. So, just straight up. We got Kyoshi, warrior guard. Same type of thing. 2 mana. It's a warrior ally. We've got the Mechanist, Tactical Tinkerer. It's got vigilance. At the beginning of your end step, untap each other artifact creature you control. And if we pay 3 and a white and tap him, we can create a 5/5 colorless vehicle artifact token named Zeppelin with flying and crew 3. Not a big deal, but we have no flyers in this deck. So making Zeppelins and having the option to block flyers is kind of nice, especially a 5/5 Zeppelin. We've got Momo, friendly flyer. The first non-limmer creature spell with flying you cast during each of your turns costs 1 less to cast. Whenever another creature you control with flying enters, Momo gets +1/+1, and he's also an ally. We've got Jodie, public servant. She can enter as a copy of another creature you control, except it has her other abilities, and the legend rule doesn't apply to permanents you control. So we can copy Sokka and give more prowess out, or copy another creature. We've also got Ember Island production, so we get to create a token that's a copy of target creature you control, except it's not legendary, and it's a 4/4 hero in addition to its other types. And we get to create a token that's a copy of a creature an opponent controls, except it's a 2/2 coward, and it's not legendary. So next up, we've got Sokka, Swordmaster. It's got vigilance. Equipment spells you cast cost 1 less to cast for each ally you control. Now, we don't have a lot of equipment in here, but we've got a little bit, and for what we do have, it's nice to have that discount. He's also a warrior ally. At the beginning of combat on your turn, attach up to 1 target equipment you control to Sokka. We've got Bender's Waterskin. Untap this artifact during each other player's untap step. And we can tap it for a mana of any color. We've also got a Soul Ring. Self-explanatory. Tap it for 2 generic. We've got Yu, the Moon Spirit. Flying Vigilance. We can Waterbend 5, and we can cast a non-creature spell from our hand without paying its mana cost. So, for anything that costs like that, we can basically get a discount. Some of our removal-y type of stuff. We've got Bolt Bend. Costs 3 less to cast if you control a creature with power 4 or greater. We can change the target of target spell or ability with a single target. Potential removal. Redirect Lightning. For 1 red, has an additional cost. We pay 5 life for pay 2. We can change the target of target spell or ability with a single target. We've got Trusty Boomerang. Trusty Boomerang is good with 2 of the Sokkas in this deck. We can play it for 1, equip it for 1, and then equipped creature has, so you can pay 1, tap it to tap target creature. returning the trusty boomerang to its owner's hand. If you have a bunch of allies, you could keep bringing it out, attaching it, tapping them, and bringing it back. And Sokka will benefit from that because every time you do that, Prowess will go off, and we'll get to create a 1/1 white ally creature token. With the other Sokka we have, he'll just keep putting +1 counters on himself. We've got Crashing Wave. As an additional cost to cast this spell, Waterbend X. Tap up to X target creatures, then distribute 3 stun counters among tapped creatures and opponent controls. So we can actually tap some creatures so they don't have many blockers and go in for some more damage. We've got Ty Lee, Chi blocker. She's got Flash and Prowess. When Ty Lee enters, tap up to 1 target creature. It doesn't untap during its controller's untap step for as long as you control her. We're going to have Imprisoned in the Moon, very thematic. Enchant creature, land, or planeswalker. Enchanted permanent is a colorless land where they get to tap for a colorless and lose all other card types and abilities. We've got Boomerang Basics, sorcery for 1. So you can return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. If you control the permanent, draw a card. So you got options. You can use it on your stuff or their stuff. We've got Lost Days. The owner of target creature or enchantment puts it into their library second from the top or bottom, or on the bottom. You create a clue token. We've got Lightning Bolt. It deals 3 damage to any target. So of course we have Lightning Strike. Deals 3 damage to any target for 1 more mana than Lightning Bolt. And we've got Momo, Rambunctious Rascal, an ally, flying. When Momo enters, he deals 4 damage to target tapped creature and opponent controls, potentially removing it. We've also got Warstorm Surge. Whenever a creature you control enters, it deals damage equal to its power to any target. So this is kind of nice, not just for our non-creatures, but every time Sokka creates a creature token, it'll be doing 1 damage to any target. We've also got Aang's Iceberg. So it's got Flash. When it enters, exile up to 1 target non-land permanent until this enchantment leaves the battlefield. You could use this on the opponent, or you can use it to protect one of yours. And it's a non-land permanent that you'd be protecting. Later on, you can Waterbend 3 and sacrifice this enchantment, so you could bring it back, and if you do, scry 2. Oh, we got Shattering Spree. We can replicate it, and we can destroy target artifact. You replicate it, you can destroy a bunch of target artifacts. We've also got Meteor Sword. When this equipment enters, destroy target permanent. Equipped creature gets +3/+3. And we've got Force of Negation. If it's not your turn, you can exile a blue card from your hand rather than paying the mana cost. Counter target non-creature spell. If that spell is countered this way, exile it instead of putting it into its owner's graveyard. So no. You can't get it back from your grave and do it again. So along with some removal there, we've got some airbending. Airbending can be used on ours or the opponent's things. Maybe we want to blink our own things. Maybe we want to remove an opponent's thing. So we got Aang, Last Airbender. He's an ally, flying. When Aang enters, airbend up to 1 other target non-land permanent. Whenever he casts a lesson, he gains lifelink. We've got Airbender's Reversal, so we get to choose 1, destroy target attacking creature, or airbend target creature you control. So that gives us some options. We've got Appa, Loyal Sky Bison. Whenever he's got flying, he's an ally too. Whenever Appa enters or attacks, choose 1. Target creature you control gains flying. So you got some evasion, or airbend another target non-land permanent you control. So you could go for those enter the battlefield triggers. We've also got Airbender Ascension. When this enchantment enters, airbend up to 1 target creature. Whenever a creature you control enters, put a quest counter on this enchantment. With Sokka bringing in 1/1 white allies. Should be pretty good to be getting the quest counters on here. At the beginning of your end step, if this enchantment has 4 or more quest counters on it, exile up to 1 target creature you control, then return it to the battlefield under its owner's control. We've also got haste. We've got fervor, so creatures you control have haste. We've also got wartime protesters. They have haste, and whenever another ally you control enters, put a +1/+1 counter on that creature, and it gains haste. Haste is always very nice when you're bringing in those tokens. And we've got Smellerbee, Rebel Fighter. First strike and other creatures you control have haste. Whenever Smellerbee attacks, you may discard your hand. If you do, draw cards equal to the number of attacking creatures. So all this haste is really good because then you can actually keep being very aggressive with the tokens that you're bringing in. We've also got Brought Back. Choose up to 2 target permanent cards in your graveyard that were put there from the battlefield this turn. Return them to the battlefield tapped, as if they were never put there. So, of course, we got some card dry type of stuff. We've got Princess U, an ally. When she dies, if she was an on-land creature, return this card to the battlefield tapped under your control. She's a land named Moon, so you get to tap her for a colorless. But in the meantime, whether she's a land or not, you can tap her and scry too. See what's coming up next. We've got Hakoda, Selfless Commander. Vigilance. This lets you look at the top card of your library anytime. You may cast ally spells from the top of your library. And we can sacrifice Hakoda, and creatures you control get +0/+5 and gain indestructible till end of turn. We've also got Master Pain Deo. I didn't say that right, probably. He's got first strike. Whenever he attacks, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal an ally, equipment, or lesson card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest at the bottom in a random order. We've got Accumulate Wisdom. So look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put one of those cards into your hand and the rest at the bottom in any order. Put each of those cards into your hand instead if there are 3 or more lesson cards in your graveyard. We've also got Tale of Momo. The spell costs 2 less to cast. If a creature left the battlefield under your control this turn, you could search your library and or graveyard for an ally creature card. So you can tutor for something or bring something back. Reveal it, put it into your hand. If you search your library this way, shuffle. We got Consider. We could survey 1 and draw a card. We got Frantic Search. Draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards, and we could tap up to 3 lands. We've got Standstill, because I thought this was a really cool looking card. When a player casts a spell, sacrifice this enchantment. If you do, each of that player's opponents draws 3 cards. So you can cast this, and in the meantime, you can pay into abilities and other things, so force them to need to cast a spell and draw a card. And come on, it's just cool. We got Humble Defector. We can tap it, draw 2 cards, and then target opponent gains control of this creature. We've got Katara, Bending Prodigy. At the beginning of your end step, if Katara is tapped, put a +1/+1 counter on her. We got Waterbend 6, so you can use her to waterbend herself, putting a +1 counter on her at the end of the turn. So you Waterbend 6, and you get to draw a card. We got Sokka, Lateral Strategist. He's got Vigilance, and whenever Sokka and at least 1 other creature attack, we get to draw a card. We got Waterbender Ascension. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, put a quest counter on this enchantment. Then if it has 4 or more quest counters, draw a card. We can also Waterbend 4 and target creature can't be blocked this turn. That's always a nice option too. We've also got Fevered Visions. Fevered Visions. At the beginning of each player's end step, that player draws a card. So it's card draw for everybody. If the player is your opponent and has 4 or more cards in hand, this enchantment deals 2 damage to that player. So a little ping damage there. We've got a few other buffs here. Well, we got Sokka, the Bold Boomeranger. This is the other Sokka I was talking about. When he enters, discard up to 2 cards, then draw that many cards. Whenever you cast an artifact or lesson spell, put a +1 counter on Sokka. Trusty Boomerang goes well with him as well. Or with him out on the battlefield. We've got Katara, Heroic Healer. She's got lifelink. And when Katara enters, put a +1/+1 counter on each other creature you control. She would be a good card to blink. Putting more +1 counters on everybody. We got Abandoned Air Temple. I'm just showing it as the land. We get to pay 3 and a white to tap it to put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. We've got Suki, Kyoshi Captain. Other warriors you control get +1/+1, and we've got a few warriors in here, aside from allies. If we pay 3 and a white, attacking warriors you control gain double strike till end of turn. We've also got Allied Teamwork. When this enchantment enters, create a 1/1 white ally creature token, and allies you control get +1/+1. We've got Fire Nation's Conquest, so creatures you control get +1/+0. And it's just a cool card. And we've also got Katara, Water Tribe's Hope. So Vigilance, when she enters, create a 1/1 white ally. And we can waterbend X, so creatures you control have base power and toughness of XX till end of turn, where X can't be 0. So we've seen a couple of things that can make tokens that I had randomly throughout here. Here's some more token making things. We've got the Kyoshi Battle Fan. When this equipment enters, create a 1/1 white ally creature token, then attach this equipment to it. Equip creature gets +1/+0, equip 2. If you blink this, well, you get an ally. We got Invasion Reinforcements for 2. It's got Flash. When this creature enters, create a 1/1 white ally creature token. Again, you can blink it. We've got Kyoshi Warriors. When this creature enters, create a 1/1 white ally creature token. Again, you can blink it. We've also got Gather the White Lotus for 4 and a white. Create a 1/1 white ally creature tokens for each planes you control, then scry 2. A bit expensive. It is a 3-color deck, so probably won't get a lot out of it, but we've also got Energy Bending. So if we pay 2, lands you control gain all basic land types till end of turn, and then we get to draw a card. And so we do that, we cast this, and we get more value out of our 1/1 white ally creature tokens. We also get to draw a card, and we get to scry 2. We got United Front. X and white. Create X 1/1 white ally creature tokens, then put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. That's some good value. We've also got Iroh, Tea Master, because Iroh is awesome. When Iroh enters, create a food token. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you may have target opponent gain control of target permanent you control. So give them something that maybe won't benefit them very much. You can even give them one of your 1/1 white ally creature tokens, because when you do, you get to create a 1/1 white ally creature token and put a +1 counter on the token for each permanent you own that your opponent controls. So if you just keep giving them your 1/1 white allies, you're basically trading them up, getting rid of a 1/1, creating a 1/1 with +1 counters equal to the 1/1s you gave somebody. We got Suki, Courageous Rescuer. Other creatures you control get +1/+0, so another little buff there. Whenever another permanent you control leaves the battlefield during your turn, create a 1/1 white ally creature token. But it only happens once each turn. And we've also got the South Pole Voyager. So whenever this creature or another ally you control enters, you gain a life. If this is the second time this ability resolved, you get to draw a card. So aside from attempting to overpower our opponents, we got a couple of cards that could solidify a win. This one's more for late game, I guess. We got Empty City Ruse. So target opponent skips all combat phases of their next turn. So if it's down to you and one other player, force them to skip their combat, and you can go in for the Menace Prowess and try to overpower them with Sokka. And we've also got, if all else fails, if they're able to keep up with the amount of creatures you have, you can play Insurrection. So you get to untap all creatures and gain control of them till end of turn. They gain haste till end of turn. So if they can keep up with you with their token creature creations, or have some pretty powerful creatures, why not steal them? And then send it right back at them with yours. And that was a little more in depth into the Sokka Tenacious Tactician deck. I hope it gave some ideas, or maybe gave some ideas for a deck. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you.